Almost every failed AI project I've seen had a demo that worked. That's the uncomfortable part. The demo impressed everyone. The pilot got applause. And then, nothing shipped. Because the demo was never the hard part. The gap between a pilot and production is where AI projects go to die. Today, we're going to walk into that gap, name the 6 things waiting there, and build a gate that stops them. There's a place I call pilot purgatory. It's where a project is too successful to kill and too fragile to launch. It looks alive. There are meetings, a Slack channel, a slide that says 90% accurate. But it never touches a real user, never moves a real number, and quietly gets defunded a quarter later. Pilots don't usually fail with a bang. They fail by never leaving purgatory. So the real question isn't, did the model work? It's, what's holding this pilot in the gap? Why should a leader care about this specifically? Because the pilot is the cheap part. The money and the risk lives on the other side of the gap. If you can predict why pilots stall, you stop funding demos that were never going to ship, and you redirect that budget to the 2 or 3 that actually can. This isn't pessimism. Every one of the 6 killers we're about to name is predictable, and every one has a fix you can apply before you build. Here's the reframe. When a pilot stalls, don't ask, why did AI fail? Ask, which force pulled it back into the gap? Because it's almost never one big, mysterious failure. It's one of 6 specific, boring, repeatable forces. Name the force, and you know the fix. Let's name all 6. 6 killers. Watch how ordinary they are. 1. No business metric. A solution looking for a problem. Nobody agreed what working means in dollars or hours. 2. Data that isn't ready. The demo ran on 10 clean documents. Reality is 10,000 messy ones. 3. No owner. It belongs to everyone at the demo and no one by launch. 4. No evaluation. It seems good is not a measurement, and you can't ship what you can't prove. 5. Compliance bolted on late. Security and audit show up at the end and say no. 6. No workflow integration. It lives in a separate window nobody opens. Notice what's not on this list? The model wasn't smart enough. That's almost never the killer. Let's take them in pairs. Killers 1 and 2 are the setup failures. They're decided before you write a line of code. Killer 1, no metric. If you can't finish the sentence, this pilot succeeds if blank goes up or down by blank. You don't have a use case. You have a wish. Killer 2, data. Models are trained on clean examples, but your business runs on messy exports, scanned PDFs, and 3 systems that spell the vendor name 3 different ways. The demo hid that. Production won't. Killers 3 and 4 are the accountability failures. Killer 3, ownership. A pilot needs one named person whose job is to get it live. Not a committee, not innovation. A person. Orphan pilots drift. Killer 4, evaluation. If the only proof is a good demo day, you cannot defend the project when it makes a mistake in front of a customer. Without a test set and a groundedness check, one bad screenshot kills a year of work. You need to prove it works, repeatedly, on real cases. Killers 5 and 6 are the last mile failures, the ones that ambush you right at the finish line. Killer 5, compliance. If security, privacy, and audit first hear about the project the week before launch, they will, correctly, hit the brakes. Bring them in at design, not at the gate. Killer 6, workflow. This is the quiet one. The assistant works, but it lives in a separate tab. people have to leave the tool they already use to go ask it something. So they don't. Adoption dies not from a bad answer, but from an extra click. Let's make this concrete with one example we'll follow to the end, an accounts payable assistant. The idea is simple and genuinely valuable. An assistant that reads incoming supplier invoices, codes them to the right general ledger account, and flags anything unusual for a human. In the demo, it coded 10 sample invoices perfectly. Everyone loved it. Now watch all 6 killers line up against it. 1. Metric. The team never agreed the target was cut invoice processing time from 5 days to 1, so no one could say if it won. 2. Data. Real invoices arrive as scanned images in 4 languages with vendor names that don't match the master list. The clean demo set lied. 3. Ownership. Finance thought IT owned it. IT thought finance did. It sat. 4. Evaluation. Looks accurate, but no one measured coding accuracy against the actual ledger, so no one trusted it with real money. 5. Compliance. It touches financial controls, so Sarbanes-Oxley audit requirements apply, and no one had designed the audit trail. 6. Workflow. It ran in a standalone web app, but the AP clerks live inside the ERP all day. Asking them to switch windows for every invoice, they just kept doing it the old way. Same promising demo. 6 ordinary forces. Purgatory. Here's the good news, and the real deliverable of this video. Every killer maps to one question you ask before you scale. I call it the production readiness gate. 6 questions, 1 per killer. Metric. What number moves and by how much? Data. Has it run on real messy data at real volume? Owner. Who is the one named person accountable for launch? Evaluation. Can we prove quality on a held-out test set continuously? Compliance. Have security and audit signed off on the design? Workflow. Does it live inside the tool people already use? If you can't answer all 6, you don't have a production plan. You have a pilot that's about to join purgatory. Run the AP assistant back through the gate, and it becomes a different project. Metric. Cut cycle time from 5 days to 1, and cut coding errors in half. Data. Tested on 6 months of real invoices, images included. Owner. The AP operations lead, full stop. Evaluation. Coding accuracy measured nightly against the posted ledger. Compliance. Audit trail and access controls designed in, signed off by finance controls. Workflow. It runs inside the ERP screen the clerk already uses, as a suggested code they approve with 1 click. Same model, same idea. This one ships. One honest trade-off before the takeaways: the gate will kill some pilots. That's the point. A pilot that can't name its metric or its owner should die at the gate, cheaply, in week 2, not after a year of engineering. The goal isn't 0 failures, it's cheap, early failures instead of expensive, late ones. 5 takeaways. 1. Pilots rarely fail on the model. They fail in the gap between demo and production. 2. That gap has 6 predictable killers: metric, data, ownership, evaluation, compliance, workflow. 3. Each killer maps to 1 production readiness gate question. Ask all 6 before you scale. 4. Bring compliance and workflow in at design time, not launch time. They're the last mile ambush. 5. A good gate kills weak pilots early and cheaply. That's a feature, not a failure. So here's your exercise. Take 1 AI pilot you know, yours or one you've watched, and run it through the 6 gate questions. I'll bet it fails at least 2. Tell me in the comments which killer you've seen do the most damage: metric, data, ownership, evaluation, compliance, or workflow. I read them, and the most common one becomes its own deep dive video. Next up, we go one level deeper on Killer 4, how to actually evaluate an AI system so you can prove it works. Follow for practical AI system design.